Hello, welcome. If you're as excited as I am about the improvements in both quality and performance of Nvidia's DLSS 4 and frame generation, you'll be glad to know that the community has developed a solution to update both services in compatible games. And that's exactly what we'll talk about in today's video, right after a word from our sponsor. If you want to buy original games while saving a lot, check out Instant Gaming, the digital store that sells games for various platforms, such as PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Get games of all genres with discounts of up to 95%. You'll also find a variety of gift cards and credits for other services. You can pay for your order through your credit card on a website with a 4.7 rating on Trustpilot. You're buying games directly from Instant Gaming, not from other retailers. If you encounter any issues, Instant Gaming offers 24/7 support. Get the highly acclaimed Hogwarts Legacy now, in its base version for $11.44 and the deluxe version for $14.15. Check out the price comparison with Steam's pricing. What are you waiting for to save? If you watched Nvidia's demonstration and got excited about the new features of the 5000 series GPUs or followed the improvements Cyberpunk received, you should know that the community has developed an application that allows you to update DLSS and frame generation to the latest versions. And it's not just Nvidia users who benefit. Those using AMD or Intel GPUs can also update to the latest technologies, including FSR, XeSS, and XeLL. In my tests with the new DLSS and frame generation, some games showed considerable performance and quality gains, while others lost FPS. That's why it's always good to test, and if the results aren't satisfactory, the changes can be easily reverted. The application is simple to configure, and the link to the GitHub page will be in the description. After downloading it, it will automatically recognize your games from Steam, Epic, GOG, and other stores, but you can also add them manually. Once the library is scanned, it will display the DLSS version present in each game. In all my tests, no game had compatibility issues or failed to run, but as I mentioned earlier, results may vary. The best approach is to first test the game's performance with the default DLSS, and then compare it with the updated version. Once everything is set up, run the program as an administrator to ensure it works correctly. Otherwise, it won't be able to modify the files. After that, just launch the game and test the improvements. Another modification Nvidia users can make is using the Nvidia Inspector version that I'll leave in the comments. You can download it or use your own version, but it's important to keep the preset I provide, as it improves DLSS 4 compatibility. In Nvidia Inspector, select the desired game, go to Category 5 Common, and in the DLSS March 1st 11 plus Force DLSS 3.1 option, use preset J. This option will only be available if you're using the preset I provided for download. With this, the game's compatibility will be improved, and you'll also be able to force delay in the latest version. After applying the settings, close Inspector. Another alternative is the Nvidia Profile Inspector Revamped, which I'll also link in the description. It's available on GitHub and is a practical option for those who have already updated to the latest driver released on January 30th, 2025. A third option for Nvidia users is to update the driver to the latest version and use the Nvidia app. In the application, just select the desired game, scroll down to the DLSS Override Model preset option, and choose the latest available versions of the technologies. Before showing the results, if you enjoy this type of content, leave a like to help with engagement. If this is your first time on the channel, consider subscribing to receive future updates. In the first test, I ran Ghostwire, Tokyo. Unfortunately, the program I used to capture statistics has an issue identifying the maximum FPS, so we'll ignore that data. The game was set to full HD, with ray tracing enabled and everything maxed out. Using the game's original DLSS, the average FPS was 129. After enabling the newer features, performance increased by almost 15 FPS, reaching an average of 143 FPS. I also tested Palworld, which, despite not having frame generation, showed interesting improvements with the new DLSS. The graphical quality was slightly better, but what really stands out is the FPS gain, going from 157 FPS with the original DLSS version to 277 FPS with the latest version. Impressive, right? In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the results were not as positive. Not all games will see performance gains with this update. In this case, there was a significant FPS drop at certain moments, suggesting a possible incompatibility. It seems that the native DLSS version was optimized by the developers for this title. In the final benchmark, we had 118 FPS with the original DLSS versus 110 FPS with DLSS 3. It may seem like a small difference, but in almost every scene, the native version maintained a 10 FPS advantage. If the improvement in Palworld was already impressive, check out the result in Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. In the previous DLSS version, the game reached 260 FPS, while in the latest version, we achieved an average of over 300 FPS. Keep in mind that this may be the game's performance limit. If the developers implement this technology natively, the gains could be even greater, as seen with Cyberpunk 2077 thanks to the work of CD Projekt Red. Unfortunately, not all studios put in that level of optimization effort. Finally, I tested the next-gen version of The Witcher 3. Here, the results were also worse. However, I remembered that I had installed an FSR mod in the game, which might have impacted performance. Since I still don't have my SSD, I couldn't do a clean installation to test it properly. In any case, there was a drop of about 10 FPS between the old and new DLSS versions. Another game I tested was The Last of Us Part 1, but I decided not to show the results because, just like in The Witcher 3, the previous use of the FSR 3 mod seems to have caused issues. So if you've used that mod in the past, I recommend always doing a clean installation before testing new versions of these technologies. And that was the video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.